everyone. Welcome to the Matt Ligor Show. My name is Brig Leland, and I have the pleasure of hosting today's show. It is March 15th, 2023, and we actually just got another snowstorm. Can you believe it, Matt?
Well, I know it's another one, but yeah, go ahead. So what did you want to say about that?
Well, last time I was here, we were looking at the groundhog to tell us if we're going to have winter or if spring's right around the corner. And the groundhog said, there's 6 more weeks of winter, and I guess he was right. I am hoping this is our last storm and all this snow that we just got yesterday melts. But what are your thoughts on that?
So February 2nd.
Yep.
That would put us, 4 weeks would put us right around March 2nd. What are we at right now?
The 15th, yeah.
The 15th.
I mean, 6 weeks.
See, now I can't remember all the specifics to the groundhog. If he saw his if he doesn't see his shadow, is the good thing, right?
Exactly.
Did he see his shadow?
He saw a shadow.
Yeah.
So he said 6 more weeks, and literally 6 weeks from the day that he said that, we get a snowstorm.
Yeah. But that just means it's still winter, so.
Right.
So we don't know if he's accurate or not.
Oh, you're saying it could be another 6 more weeks of winter.
Well, it could be another 2 weeks, and then he's a liar. All right? I'm just saying, I think the groundhog is a hoax and a fraud.
All right. Well, this is your show. And,
this is my opinion.
And thank you so much for having me and inviting me to be, the guest host. This is about you, though.
Okay.
I'm really excited about this. After the last time that you interviewed me, I thought it was a really cool, experience, and I think that you're an interesting person. I want to hear everything about your business life, broadcasting, everything, and I'm sure your audience does. So why don't you tell us why do you do this show? How long have you been doing it? How many guests have you had? Tell us a little bit about broadcasting.
Sure. So when I was 14 years old.
We're going to go way back.
Yeah. Well, this is where it all started.
Right.
This is where the dream for me started. I had to do a report on what you wanted to do for a career.
Yeah.
What did you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Okay. And the first thing I chose was to be a professional baseball player. Now, the problem was I didn't play baseball on any teams or anything like that. So
you just wanted to be a pro.
But yeah, I wanted to go from 14 to pro.
Perfect.
My other choice, I had to do 2. You had to pick 2.
Yeah.
So the second one was I wanted to be a DJ.
Oh,
okay.
Cool. Yeah.
You're probably not going to remember this guy, but his name was Wolfman Jack, and he was at the time one of the most famous rock and roll DJs in the world. Okay.
Sounds cool.
And he'd been around forever. So everybody at the time, when I was a kid, everybody knew who Wolfman Jack was. Yeah. And he was the pinnacle. But there was also local radio DJs and everything that you could listen to. And this is before Maddie in the Morning and everything. So, it was probably right around when he started. But I used to listen to this show on WHDH. And it was this guy, Jess Kane. And he'd been around forever. He was old then, all right? And he was dumb jokes, all the stuff that DJs did, fake voices and everything. And of course, at the time, 12, 13, 14, I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that.
I love it.
So when I got to be about 18, I saw an ad for the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Oh, wow.
And I said to myself, there it is. All right? I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to, you come in for not really an interview, but you go see the school, all right?
Yep.
And one of the first things they'd have you do is they'd sit down and talk to you and tell you about it and everything, and then they'd say, let's just see what your aptitude is.
Yep.
And they'd put you down, and they'd go, here's a script, put you in front of a camera, and they would say, read this. It would a little news story.
Sure.
All right? So they'd give you a few minutes to run, read it, and be prepared. And then you would do it. And then they'd take you in another room, and they'd have you do a radio read through.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I did it, and they came back to me and they said, you really did excellent. All right. You do have a good aptitude for this. So, we would say that if this is something you're interested in, you should do it. You should pursue it. Cool. All right. Because some people, everybody got to watch everyone, by the way. they did it, and like there was probably 10 people there. We each got to watch the 10 people.
Yeah.
Some people were terrible. All right, they were awful. All right, and
But you were not. You were at the top of the class.
I was. They
Yeah.
said that. They
Yeah.
said you're the very best.
I'm not surprised.
They didn't say that, but I thought that. Anyway, but in all seriousness, like some people just wasn't for them, you
Sure.
know, and it was like a good way for them to kind of like weed through and put people in front of the camera and say, you know, are you sure you want to do this? You know.
Yeah.
So I was excited, to say the least. All right. I was like, oh man, this is a dream come true.
your
This is what I
calling.
want to do.
Yeah.
All right. So I go home. I'm about 18.
Yeah.
all right. Mom, Dad, sit down. I want to tell you what I want to do.
Oh, no.
All right? Oh, no. So I tell them. I'm all excited. And I'm like, and Dad, they said that I've got a good aptitude for this, and they think I'd be good at it.
Yeah.
And so my dad looked at me and said, they say that to everyone. They just want you to pay the money and join the school. You can't go by that. And needless to say, I was absolutely crushed.
Crushed.
All right. Now, I'm not going to say my dad left me high and dry on that, because he said, I think you should talk to somebody else. My dad was always is big on always getting like it. He overdoes it. But anyway, talk to someone else.
Multiple
Get
opinions.
multiple
Yeah.
opinions, which
Sure.
is good. All
Yeah.
right. So actually, I met somebody that I don't know how he knew this person, but they were in broadcasting. All right. And I talked to them about the school and everything, and they said, you know, I don't know if that's the best school. It's not. I don't know that it's not. It is or it isn't. But you know, if you really want to do broadcasting, you should go to a more professional school.
Okay.
That was all it took. It just totally derailed me,
Ugh.
and it just seemed like too big a deal. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any support really that was going to do it. So I was like, oh well, I guess this is just too hard. All right, it's too hard. All right, and the Connecticut School of Broadcasting is a hoax, like
Okay.
the groundhog. Okay, so
It's a hoax.
so that's what I thought. Okay, now years went by. And I always wanted to have a talk show or something. I you know.
You had an itch.
So an itch. So and then I meet this guy, or I don't meet him. I see him. He's on sports talk radio, WEI or something.
Yeah.
And guess where he went to school?
The Connecticut School
Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and he was on WEI, which at the time was the #1 sports show in the whole country. I was like, what? So I was again. Now I was just reliving it. And now it's just mad.
Yeah, right.
Well, as fate would have it, I met a friend, and he started broadcasting. And he would do this sports talk show every Saturday, and I was like, oh, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I called them up. I asked them if they wanted to, if I could get a spot, and they said yes. And I said, who'd you know? Well, I didn't really know anybody. I just called them up. It was a real radio station,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
It was an AM radio station.
All right.
And then he ended up becoming like the manager of the station. All right? And I said to him, do you think that I've always wanted to do a show? Could I do a show? Oh, yeah, you could do a show. And then that we got lost in conversation. And then I brought it back. I was like, wait a minute, maybe he was serious. I thought maybe we had a couple of drinks. He was just saying,
right.
you know. So I brought it up to him when we weren't. I said, were you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. You can do a show. I'll have a producer call you. All right? So now I'm like, really?
How old were you at this time?
This was probably like 10, 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
All right? So the guy calls me up, goes, what kind of show do you want to do? I said, well, I want to do a show about entrepreneurs. What's your demographic? I said, well, I don't know, 15 to 100? I said, whoever wants to be an entrepreneur. He's like, oh, that's great. Good. Yeah, that's good. It's good demographic.
Everyone.
Yeah.
If they're living.
Yeah. And I'm like, he goes, well, why don't you come in? He goes, we'll talk, and then we'll pick a time that you can do a show. And, we'll have to do a few things. You have to, not test, but he goes, I got to prep you a little bit.
Sure.
Well, it was that easy. And like within 2 weeks, I was doing a show once a week. I would do a show.
Was that here in North Reading?
No,
or
this
where
was at a WSMN in Nashua, New Hampshire.
No way.
Tiny little AM station.
Huh.
And I would do a show every Tuesday at 10 o'clock for an hour.
Cool.
All right. And, you know, of course, when I was a kid, I wanted it to be my career, but by then, I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do
It's
it.
like a passion.
A passion. I
Yeah.
wanted to do it for fun. I
Yeah,
wanted
that's
the
cool.
fun of it. I didn't make any money at it, all right? And my audience was, you know, it's an AM station at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. It was not big. Okay, it was small. All right, and I think probably the one who listened to the show the most was me afterwards when I'd replay it and listen to it over and over in my car.
That's
you know,
great.
And I would have a guest on. Sometimes I'd have them in the studio. Sometimes I'd have them on the phone.
Yeah.
And I did that for, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. And then I was just like, you know, I started not having fun with it anymore.
Yeah.
The other thing was, it's just such a small audience, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure how many people were really even listening.
Right.
But I will say this, they did put me on 2 stations. They put me on an FM station.
Oh, that's cool.
So it would replay, it would be Tuesday on this station, and then Friday drive time on an FM station.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty
that was
good.
pretty good,
Yeah.
you know. And then I met the guys here at NORCAM at a town day. And I was like, they were like, oh yeah, you can do a show. Oh sure.
Sweet.
And I'm like, well, how much does it cost? It doesn't cost anything. I mean, it's public access.
Right,
You know.
right.
You know, you got to help with it and everything. And
Right.
you know, so I was like, really? So TV, you know, and you put it on YouTube, and you can put it on Facebook, and you can do all that stuff. And I was like, well, let me try that.
That's great.
You know, and then I could also do it when I wanted to instead of having to be every Tuesday
Right.
10 o'clock. You know.
Right. So how long have you been doing that?
So on and off, I did it for. There was a big gap in there for a little while, but on and off, I've been doing broadcasting fairly consistently since like 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 9 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. And how many episodes or how many people have you interviewed?
Well, on the radio show, I mean, you figure it was 2 weeks. I mean, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Of regular broadcasts. So that was, you know, some weeks I would do a repeat. You know, I might not do a show that week and they just do a repeat.
Right.
But I had to interview like, almost 100 people.
Yeah, that's like
You
70
know.
to 100.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then this show, I don't know exactly, but I've done probably well over 25 shows here.
Wow. Has anybody ever interviewed you
No,
on your show? No.
no.
Oh my gosh, this is your spotlight. This is your chance.
Yeah, this is my chance to
tell your
shine.
story, and
Yeah.
that's great.
My time to shine. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you been practicing?
I have been.
All right,
yeah,
good,
Yeah.
good.
Does it sound it?
No, I mean, no. You're so well polished. You're in broadcasting. I mean,
So that was it. So I mean, I do it for fun. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
All right. And it's like there's very few things in life that you can do that are straight up fun.
Yeah.
All right. And like I enjoy this. I don't ever expect to be famous. I don't ever expect to make money at it.
you're famous here. What are you talking about? This is the
am,
Matt
yeah.
Ligor Show. Are you going to keep it up? Are you planning on doing more episodes?
Yeah. Because there was probably about a 3-year hiatus there where I didn't do much.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe I needed the time off, but I missed it. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like, I'll be honest. Like my personality is always like a no waiting to happen. So in the morning, like when I'm thinking about the show, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I don't want to do this. You know? But I know that I don't really feel that way.
Right.
You know, it's just fear. That's all. It's just whenever you feel like that, whenever you're like, oh, I don't want to do that thing that I've wanted to do my whole life, that I get so much
Right.
joy out of.
Right.
It's fear.
Right.
All right. It's fear of failure. It's fear of being made fun of.
Yeah.
You know. It's fear of having your shirt unbuttoned while you're doing a show.
Oh, sounds like you've done that before.
Yes, I did do that, and it was mortifying and embarrassing, and made me never want to go outside again. But I did a show the next week, I believe, just because I knew I had to get back up on the horse.
You had to cover it.
Yeah,
Let's put an episode or two
bury
in front of
that
that.
show and hope nobody watches it. But
That's great.
it's on YouTube, so it's available to anybody. But yeah, so that was where the broadcasting
That's
came
great.
from. Yeah.
I mean, I've known you a while, and I had no idea. So thanks for sharing that story with
Well,
us.
thank you. I appreciate you wanting to do the interview. This is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
So tell us, like, obviously broadcasting is not your day job. What is your day job?
So I have a business doing paintless dent removal. My company's name is Dent Craft, right here in North Reading, right
Yep.
at 286 Park Street,
Perfect.
Unit 10.
Perfect.
You can see the sign. It looks like a giant gear. which is funny because I don't actually do anything mechanical, but I figured a gear looked good, you know?
Right. Automotive.
And it's the repairing of small dings and dents without any painting or body work. So basically it's working metal. I know how to work metal and make it flat without disturbing the paint. And so you can't tell anymore. Now, it's not for an accident. Like if you get into a car accident, you got to go to a body shop.
Yeah.
But like if a baseball lands on your hood, acorns, hail damage, just door dings, you know, someone dents your car at a Stop and Shop. That's probably half the work right there. It's just accidental damage, you know. And I've been doing it now for 27 years.
Wow.
Did not think I would do it that long.
when you left broadcasting, or never pursued it, I should say.
Yeah.
That's where you ended up.
I did. I mean, more or less. It took a while to get there. I mean, I didn't start doing this, honestly, until I was like 29.
Yeah.
You know, which was kind of late in the game to start a new career.
Sure.
But I had never gone to college.
Yep.
And I did, I used to work selling Pepperidge Farm cookies. Also,
really?
Stella D'Oro cookies before that.
Yeah.
So I would be in charge of a section at a supermarket.
Yeah.
And I would have to make sure it was full, and I'd have to make sure that the cookies were displayed right, and all the sale items were right, and they were priced right. And I had, you know, not just one supermarket. I probably had a dozen supermarkets I had to service.
Wow.
And I would go and do that, which was actually, I really kind of liked that job. You know, and now later in life, I look at it and like, that was actually a really good job. You know, it really was, because it was like very low stress.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but you always think the worst. I was always worried that somehow the distribution would get changed and Pepperidge Farm would start selling their cookies a different way. They'd have a wholesale or something. It never happened, all right?
Yep.
But that's what I did before that.
Yeah.
And I did that for several years. And that was, you know, I enjoyed that too, because, you know, having a truck full of cookies in your backyard is always like, people liked it. You know, people liked you.
Yeah, of course.
You know, when I was single too, and, you know, women love cookies.
That's how you picked up.
Yeah, it was always a good starter.
That's
what do you
great.
do for work? I sell cookies.
I sell cookies.
Really? I love cookies. I was like, oh, how about that?
Who doesn't like cookies, right?
Unless the woman's on a diet, then she's mad at you.
You're like, I have some health cookies.
We had no health cookies.
No Pepperidge Farm.
One time, there was this girl I liked, and I gave her a bag of cookies. She was a bartender, and she worked at this bar I used to go to, and I brought her a bag of cookies. I was like, hey, here you go. All right? And she took the cookies, and she looked at them, and she threw them back at me and said, I'm on a diet. And I was like, okay, well, you know, hey, it's not always a home run. All right?
That's great. So, Matt, tell me, you know, I'm thinking about the topic of your broadcasting and how it's entrepreneurship and how you run and own Dentcraft. And tell me, is that why you decided to leave Pepperidge Farms, is to really do something on your own? And has entrepreneurship just always been something that you've wanted to pursue, and this was kind of the first thing that you could really, you know, do on your own? And just tell us a little bit about what interests you regarding entrepreneurship.
Well, so like, I would have to say, like, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My grandfather came from Albania in the 20s.
Wow.
And he only had like a 9th grade education, but he was savvy. And so he started working in a cannery in Everett.
Wow.
Work and saved some money.
Wow.
Was able to partner with some people and buy a store.
Wow.
A fruit stand store. This is the 20s and 30s. Okay.
Right,
So that
during
was
the
very,
Depression.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then he was able to parlay that into some property, and he used to be a maintenance manager for a small apartment building in Cambridge. And this was during the Depression, and the bank owned the property. And the bank said to him, you're doing such a great job managing this. Like, this property is actually really operating well.
Right.
Would you like to buy it?
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, the bank didn't want to own the property.
Right.
So he said, yeah, I'd like to buy it. So he bought an apartment building, all right?
That's amazing.
There's some guy from Albania, you know, and he just came to the United States like a lot of immigrants do and go, wait a minute, you know, I can work as much as I want, I can make as much as I want, I can buy property if I want, really? So they're like, I'll do that. All right, and he ended up buying. He had ended up owning a couple of buildings, a lot of property, and
Cambridge too. What a great city.
At the time, it wasn't what it is now, but still,
right next to
Arlington.
Boston.
Yeah, in Arlington, he had some. So anyway, long story, without going on and on about that. That was like I've always seen my family working for themselves. My dad, he was a school teacher, but he always had something on the side.
Yeah,
and he owned an apartment building.
Yep.
When we were kids, we grew up in an apartment building that we owned, and we all had jobs, you know, picking up trash or whatever, you know, we all had to do stuff like that. So it was one of those things where I never did well working for somebody. It's not that I'm a bad employee. It's that I get kind of like a little bored.
Yeah.
And I just need the freedom and the flexibility to kind of do my own thing. I'm responsible, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do the show because I figured there's a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs, you know. I want a lot of people that want to own their future, you know.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to share that with people.
Yeah.
Or at least talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk to people who were better at it than me, you know, because I'm good. I'm okay. I can run a business myself, and I can motivate myself to go to work, and I know how to promote myself. But, you know, I'm not like Mark Cuban or something.
Right.
But so I want to interview people like Mark Cuban or, you know, maybe not Mark Cuban, someone a little better than me.
Yeah, I love
that. It's funny. I told the person I was interviewing that I wanted to interview them so other people could see what they're doing. The truth was I wanted to interview them because I wanted to pick their brain. Right? That was really the honest truth.
That's great. That's great.
And and it was like a snowball effect. So when I first started doing the radio show, I would just be like, I need guests, you know. So I'd find people who own a business. Hey, you want to be on my show? You want to be on my show? You'd be surprised how hard it is to get to interview people.
Really?
Yeah. You'd be like, we can do a show. We'll promote your business.
Yeah.
We'll advertise. We'll not so much advertise, but we're going to promote it.
Right.
And we're going to talk about it. And then you'll have a video that you can, or when I was on the radio, you'll have an audio that you can share.
Yeah.
All right. You talking about your business. Really hard. And people back out at the last second and everything. So I met this guy who was doing this weird thing. Well, the weird thing I thought was he was fulfilling orders for Amazon. So he knew all these people that used the Amazon platform to promote products. I didn't know it even worked that way.
Yeah, right.
So he's like, would you like to interview these people? I go, I need people, yeah.
Yeah.
I started interviewing these people who were like multimillionaires and started out with nothing, and they just used Amazon as the start. And I was shocked, but I was impressed because they took something so simple.
Right.
Is they take something dumb, like you remember that? I don't know if you remember. About a few years ago, there was this thing. There's a Chewbacca mask, and you'd put it on, and you would open it, and it would go roar. All right, it would roar, and it looked like Chewbacca.
Yeah. It's like a Shark Tank thing. Yeah, sure.
Well, these guys would buy them at the store and resell them on Amazon
with a markup.
And make $100,000.
Yep.
And because they'd go into a store and they'd buy a display of 200, and they'd take 190 of them, and then they'd ship them off to Amazon and sell them. And I was like, wow. I mean,
yeah, the ingenuity, the creativeness, the passion, you know.
Yeah, it's just like I'm the kind of person like I'll go into like, I don't know how to do it. It can't be done.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch someone do it and be like, well, that's so simple. You know? So I like to see like...
That's inspiring.
Because I'm basically a pretty simple guy, you know? Yeah. Like, it doesn't take a lot to make me happy. You know? I drive a pickup truck, but I drive a really nice pickup truck, all right? And, you know, I like vanilla ice cream, but I like really good vanilla ice cream, all right? Like if we go out somewhere, I'll order vanilla ice cream and I'll put something on it, all right? Because a long time ago, not to get off the subject again, but I used to want to own an ice cream store, like an ice cream.
So you wanted to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And an ice cream store was one of them.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
So I worked with a guy who owned two ice cream stores. They sold hot dogs and ice cream and some other stuff, but mostly ice cream. Yeah. And I was like, I want to learn how to do this. So because I wanted my own place.
Yep.
So I worked with them for a while. I learned the manufacturing end, the selling end, the running the store end, and then I met this guy who was worked for some a product company that would supply you all the products, all the materials you needed for ice cream.
Yep.
And he said the way that you test ice cream to see if someone's ice cream is good, you get their vanilla.
Right. That's the
That's
base.
the test.
Yep.
All right, because most things are based off vanilla.
Yep.
They taste the vanilla and see how good it is. All right, and that's what you go by.
Sure.
Not the chocolate, not the strawberry. You go by vanilla.
That makes sense.
So I was like, really? So the most important ice cream is vanilla.
Yeah.
And you know what the most popular ice cream in the world is?
What's that?
Vanilla.
There you go.
All right. You would sell, let's just say, pick some random numbers. If you sold 100 gallons of ice cream,
Yep.
25 gallons of it would be vanilla.
Wow.
And 10 to 15 gallons would be chocolate. And everything else would be the rest of all your varied flavors. But the majority is always vanilla.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Ice cream and all about you too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I honestly, I would still like to sell ice cream, okay? Because ice cream's fun. Everyone loves ice cream.
Hey.
Nobody's upset when they come in and get
like
an ice
cookies.
cream. Yeah. But it's better than cookies. Because cookies go with ice cream. Ice cream doesn't go with cookies.
That's true.
All right? I suppose ice cream goes with pie. Like you have pie and you put ice cream on it.
Right.
But ice cream, cookies go with ice cream. All right?
True.
Hot fudge goes with ice cream.
Yeah.
Whipped cream goes with ice cream. Nobody's unhappy when they're getting ice cream.
Matt, you should open an ice cream shop.
You know,
Maybe North Reading needs one.
North Reading does not need one, okay, because there's already 3 here, I believe. But New England is the #1 area for ice cream in like the country.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Year
That's
round.
So cool.
Like everyone eats ice cream in New England year round.
Doesn't matter.
You know, a place like in North Reading, you got Dairy Queen. They close all winter because it's an outdoor stand. You know?
Yep.
It's an outdoor stand, so they only open whatever months they're open, you know.
Yeah.
But then there's another one, Big Daddy's. I believe he's open year round, but I'm not 100% sure. And then, of course, on the border, there's Dandelions.
Yep.
And that's like the king in the area. Like they have a line down, you know, 100-person line all the time.
Oh yeah,
you know?
everybody knows.
And they're really good at moving people.
Yeah.
They have a good system.
Yep.
Of course, the king of all kings is Richardson's.
It's Richardson's.
You go
Right.
there, and it's just like, you know, it's like Disney World of
It
ice
is
cream.
kinda
you know?
Disney World.
And they even have cows in the back, you know. So you're like, wow, my ice cream's here, and it came from there, you know. But tell me, have you ever seen anyone angry getting ice cream?
No, I mean, and you have not only all the flavors, but if you want dairy-free ice cream or you want some other options like sugar-free, I mean,
Complete waste of ice cream. Should never be done.
I'm just saying, unlike
I'm
cookies,
just telling you, I just wanted to put that out there. Fat-free ice cream, sugar-free ice cream, dairy-free ice cream. Don't waste your time.
hey, you're talking to somebody that's full fat everything.
Yeah.
I get it.
Why waste your time?
Yeah.
It's not. It's just, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. you
So
know?
we're gonna segue.
Are we doing a
So
segue? Okay, go ahead.
we've got a few more minutes.
All right, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about a new venture. I heard you were telling me before the show that you're starting something new with a company called Turo.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just share a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah. So, I'm a Turo host. Okay.
Yes.
So what that means is I have a car. Turo is a car sharing program, like Airbnb.
Yep.
All right. And you go on there, and if you don't own a car, or you just want to rent a car, you want to try a car, you don't want to use your car, you go on Turo and you reserve a car, and you can reserve it for a day or a year. It's up to you.
Very cool.
All right.
Yeah.
And so I have, you know, my shop is in North Reading, and I have a garage. I have a lot of space, and I let people store cars there in the winter. But you know, I got to. Goes hand in hand with what I do. I work in the automotive business, so why not do this too?
It's a perfect segue.
So so I am a Turo host. Right now I only have one car. I put it on there, and people rent it. It's out right now. People rent it for a week at a time,
Wow.
2 weeks at a time.
That's great.
And you know,
Is it your personal car? Or?
Yeah, it's my personal car.
Okay.
Okay, put it this way. I bought the car for Turo.
Oh, I see.
You can do your personal car. It's
Yep.
up to you.
Yep.
So, like, if you want to rent your car 2 weeks a month to help make the payment,
Sure.
you can do that. You can put it on Turo. The only thing is you got to let someone drive your car. And, you know, me personally, I don't want anyone driving my personal car. This is a business, so I have the car that's for business. So I just started doing it a few months ago. Honestly, so far it's worked pretty good. The platform, the Turo platform, much like Airbnb platform, Amazon platform, everything's set up for you.
Yeah.
And it's really well thought out. You know, Uber's a platform too.
Right.
You drive your car, and Uber gets you the customers. I rent my car, and Turo gets me the customers.
Yeah.
And you know, they take a small percentage. You can tell them how much you want to give, and then they'll tell you how much they'll do for you if there's a problem.
Yeah.
All right. So like they insure the car if you get into an accident.
Yeah.
If you give them a higher percentage, they'll pay for most of the damage, maybe not all of it. You take a higher percentage up front, they will say, well, you have a bigger deductible.
I see. I see.
But I like it. I think it's a good concept.
Yeah.
You know, will it be something I do for a long time? I don't know. I'm kind of just trying it out right now.
I love it that you're always innovating, trying new things. Who knows? Maybe next time we do an episode, you have an ice cream shop. You never know.
Maybe, yeah. I wouldn't. I don't think I would do a standalone ice cream shop. I'll tell you why.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. The best place to have any kind of food establishment is in a financial district of a city, because the financial district is only open basically from 9 to 5.
Right.
It's closed on weekends.
Yep.
And I had a chance to buy a place in the financial district in Boston in like 1991, 1992. Mm-hmm. Guy had a yogurt shop, small thing, about as big as a studio here.
Huh.
And he did more volume out of that little store than the guy that I worked with, than he did in his store all year.
Wow.
Okay? And all he sold was frozen yogurt.
Yep.
All right? Frozen yogurt. That's a joke. All right?
You're a true ice cream person, huh?
You ever watch Parks and Rec?
I've seen a couple episodes,
well,
sure.
There's a guy called Ron Swanson.
Sure.
And he would say, one of the things he said was, frozen yogurt, try harder, be more like ice cream. Okay? And it's true. All right, if you look at, there was a phase about 8 or 10 years ago where there was all these frozen yogurt places you go, and you could serve it yourself, put on your thing, and weigh it, and pay $25 for your frozen yogurt that you overproduced on yourself, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
They were popular for about 3 years, and now they're all gone.
Oh, yeah.
Because frozen yogurt is a joke.
All right.
All right? Ice cream is the way to go. So, long story short, I wish I'd bought that place.
Yeah.
Right in the financial district. And I said to the guy, what are your hours? Because the other place I worked at was like 10 to 10. I had to be open 10 to 10, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And he's like, and it was weird talking to him because he was so like,
he wasn't
I could care less attitude. Like he just wanted out of it, you know? Yeah. He was like, I'm open about 10 and I close around 4:30. I go, what about the weekends? No. I said, could you? Could, but I don't. And I was like, did you ever think of selling ice cream? You could, but I don't. All right. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's a super success at this. I mean,
right.
he had another business that was better.
Yeah.
All right. This is how good this guy was. That this meant nothing to him.
Yeah.
All right. But that's what I would do. Financial district.
Sure.
Because even if you sold hot dogs, it's the way to go. That's why like these food trucks are so popular.
Absolutely.
Because they drive to where the people are.
Yep.
They serve the people and they leave.
Yep.
Those trucks are expensive, but still, the principle. I mean, an ice cream shop is expensive too. You got to buy a lot of equipment, pay a lease, and all that stuff. So you want to go to where the people are, but where the people are for a short period of time, so you don't have to be locked down there for 12
for a long
hours.
time. Yeah. Matt, we've learned a lot. This was great. I think we're running up to the end of the episode, but thank you for sharing just so much about your business background and broadcasting. And I am very excited to see what the future episodes hold and who you're going to interview next. But do you have any closing comments for your audience?
No. Well, okay. I guess I would just say, one of the greatest lessons I learned in life was I found myself out of work at one time, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I was pressing to try and get a job. So I would say this more towards young people, but anybody, if you're out of work, go out and just do something that seems fun. Like whatever it is. If you got nothing to lose, then why not try it? So if it looks like fun, do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You find out it's not fun and you quit and you go do something else. I think that opened up a lot to me. Was when I was in that opportunity, I was just like, I'm going to try whatever looks fun. And at the time, there was no Indeed or Monster.com. It was get the paper
LinkedIn.
out and start circling jobs you liked, you know? So I'd look at the paper and I'd go, looks like fun. Call them up. Let me see. And I'd try it. So I would say, make sure you try something fun because life goes fast.
I love
and
it.
the next thing you know, you've been doing something for 27 years, and you don't know how that happened, you know?
Well, this was great, Matt. Thank you for that. And I guess we'll see everybody next time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.